this really, really unique opportunity to achieve single payer in California. And so really looking forward to carrying on the torch in my hopeful role as in the ADEMS and pushing for single payer in California. So shall I just throw to the next person in?
Yeah, let's do your slate first, and then if there's anybody from the other slate, they can follow after we do one slate.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
So yeah, our slate is
It'll
called—
help people realize which slate people are on and stuff.
For sure. So our slate is called the Social Justice League. And it looks like Alyssa Victory, who's part of that slate, part of our slate, is on here too. So I'll throw to Alyssa.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Good thumbs up? Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alyssa Victory. I am honored to be here speaking with you all. Happy New Year. And definitely honored to be running on the 8018 Social Justice Slate for ADEM delegates in Assembly District 18, which covers Oakland, Alameda, and San Leandro. A little bit about me. I am a civil rights attorney. I work with ACLU Northern California in the Police Practices Criminal Justice Team. I'm also labor counsel to CWA Communication Workers of America 9415, which is based in Oakland. I also work with the statewide African Black Coalition, the largest Black student network, and do grassroots organizing and community direct service with them based out of their property in East Oakland. So I am really running to help push and advance progressive values, progressive movements and demands, especially those that have been highlighted and amplified this year, to ensure that they really align with CDP's platforms and to bring more representation to the party. I'm also helping to coordinate a statewide campaign to elect more Black ADEMs. Statewide, we're around 1% of the current delegates, which is not reflective of our population in the state, nor of our activity and engagement with the Democrats. So please check out our hashtag Black ADEMs, but also our website for our slate, 8018socialjusticeleague.com. I'm gonna throw it to my slate mate, Rabia Keeble.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa, and thank you, everyone. It's so wonderful to be back with all you guys, because I think the last time I saw all of you was the last time I ran for ADEM, which was, the last cycle around. So a lot of you already know me, and you know my politics, you know how I feel. You know that I first got involved with all this with a bunch of Bernie supporters. And when I was working on Bernie's campaign out of the Rock Ridge office in Berkeley, I'm still very much a Bernie supporter, but we move on and we support those things that are more present and that we're able to see some fruition from. I've decided to run again, and I think I'm doing that mainly because there's still a lot of things on the table that we need to support. And one of those is Medicare for All. I've always supported it. I was a professional healthcare worker, RN, for 30 years. And I was a member of CNA, always have been a union member, always have supported unions, still do. And they're a very important part of the life of workers in America, especially African-American workers. I'm also working right now with EPHO. I'm on the Faith and Justice Committee. I am working with American Friends for Non-Combatants for Peace, which is a group that works with another group that is associated out of Palestine, out of Israel, where previous combatants come together for peace, actually working to protect the rights of Palestinians. I also started the first women's mosque that is fully inclusive in America, probably in the world. That was in 2017, and still doing that. And many of you probably know that I used to fully wear hijab and everything. Still Muslim, but don't wear hijab. I also accepted the invitation from Alyssa to be part of increasing the bandwidth on Black ADEMs here in the state of California. So I'd be glad to work with her on that. Basically for me, one of the most important things for me right now, beyond healthcare, because of COVID, we know that, right now healthcare is a big issue. And the impact of COVID on the Black community and the Latin community is a huge issue. There's a lot of things that fall out of that. I don't have a lot of time to get into it, but those things are very prominent. One of the other things is we're finding out that the vaccine is not getting out like it's supposed to. That's troublesome because we're still in lockdown. And I'd like to see, Californians get back out and have normal lives, but we're not going to do that until we all get vaccinated or somehow we all shelter in place enough so that we can get this virus under control. One of the most important things on my agenda is housing justice. And I'm glad I'm working with EPHO because I'm constantly involved with trying to find solutions for the housing crisis here in the Bay Area. Even where I live, where 8 years ago when I moved into my unit, this area was free of any semblance of homelessness. And now it is overrun with homeless people. And that to me is something that the city of Oakland should be doing more about. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of stuff going on with the city council, so forth. But my eyes tell me, and my interactions on the street tell me that this is getting worse and not better, despite everything they say they're doing. We need to do more. We need to get people housed. We need to get people permanently housed, not just temporarily housed. We need to get people into safe, hygienic, livable conditions, and to get people off the streets. The weather is inclement. We have the virus. It's certainly something that's not humane in any way, shape, or form. And I'd like to see that more people are addressing this that are in power. And I certainly intend on keeping it in the forefront as an ADEM. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Carol.
Okay, who's next on that slate? I see just names here and I'm not sure what slate they're on.
I can go next.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here with you all. My name is Marissa Zuckerman, and I am running in support of so many of the issues that were just named by my slate mates, but especially focusing on climate justice and the Green New Deal, looking at the intersections of jobs and racial, economic justice, along with environmental and climate impacts. I work at the Sierra Club for my paid work, and I'm 26 right now. And when I was 23, I founded the Sunrise Movement Bay Area chapter. So I'm really here because I believe so strongly in the power of young people and in the power of what our generation can do, and the way that we have just that clarity of the type of future that we're inheriting, and all the work that all of us together, all generations and backgrounds, have to do what we can to make things better. So I'm really honored to be here. It's the first time that I'm running for anything, my first foray into elected office. And I see another Sunrise member here, Maria, who I think you'll hear from in a moment. But I'm here because I think that the crises that we face are massive. And I was born and raised in Oakland, have lived here most of my life, and I've seen the way that our city has changed and has been really struggling. And I want to do something about it. And I think that the solutions that we need can match the scale of these crises. The crises are massive. The solutions also have to be bold and ambitious and transformative and intersectional. So that's why I'm running on this platform of racial, economic, and climate justice, and to find a way to address these things in a holistic way. And that actually gives me hope, because I think that's the way we're going to get there. And seeing these things as the connected issues that they are, contrary to what some people might say, actually makes us more powerful, because it means we can work across movements, across difference. And that's what we're trying to do.
All
So
right.
I will end there.
Okay, thank you so much. I need to remind people that you can talk for 1 to 2 minutes, because we have a lot of people. Okay, who would like to go next on that slate?
Hi, I would love to go next if that's okay. And I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having us. And I'm also excited to be running on the Social Justice League slate in District 18. And I was asked to run by former Bernie organizers that I worked together with, which was a really fantastic experience. And I'm excited to try to take that further, all of the values that we were fighting for in the Bernie campaign. I think we have a pretty exciting opportunity to work on those on a statewide level here in California. One of the main things that I've been working on recently is a petition with Healthy California Now and DSA and a bunch of nurses organizations and healthcare worker organizations to ask Governor Newsom to let's do like statewide single payer. So I think that would probably be something that I would be really interested in working on organizing as an ADEM.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. And is there anybody else from that particular slate in District 18 here?
See Melody Davis. Melody.
Yeah, Melody Davis. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yep,
Okay, how you guys doing?
good to see you.
No, yeah, Carol. Hi, it's been a great honor. Thank you for inviting us. And I worked with you guys before in 2018 with Pamela Price and Javoka Beckles. And then, so now I'm running for the AD DEM. So I've always been a helper. Now I'm a runner. And so that's what I'm running for. I am running the Social and Justice League. Okay, Melody Davis. So please look at our slate. Some of the things I would work on is everything, like all my former people just said in front of me, but also my passion is childcare, because quality childcare keeps Californians working. And we really know at this time with this district learning and moms are being teachers now. So it has been really a pain in the butt, but I hope 20 and 21 gets better. And the other thing that I always work on is education. Kids they don't get a proper education, you know what happens. The jail gets bigger, the prison gets bigger. So I'm trying to help as much as I can with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have somebody else here from that slate of District 18? Hello, going once. Okay, do we have anybody here from other slates in District 18 that would like to speak that are running? Okay, I believe we're complete with District 18. We're going to move on to some others. In our previous meeting, we had a lot of people, and just in interest of time and to represent slates, we're going to have people, maybe each slate where there were people here before, rather than everybody get up and repeat themselves. We're going to have maybe two people from the slate just speak. So let's move to District 16 and start with Marisol and Alexandria and Asa Strout, okay? In any particular order.
Hey, this is Asa.
No, I was just going to say that not Alexandria, but Sarah. So it's myself, Sarah, and Asa. I apologize.
Okay.
But thank you. So let me introduce really quick this late. So hello, my name is Marisol Rubio. I am
Excuse me,
direct
we have a weird sound coming.
from my end.
You're in, but let's see if we can get the sound. Can anybody suggest how we, is
this
anybody
sound
else
better?
hear it besides me? I don't.
Yeah, I hear it. She should probably log out and try to log back in again.
That's not, you mean
That's
from my
better.
computer?
I think that fixed it, Marisol.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
You're coming through.
Okay.
start
Yeah,
over.
Now,
Okay.
now we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you all. Sorry about that. Hello, my name is Marisol Rubio. I'm the director-elect of the Dublin San Ramon Services District. I'm also the Democratic Party of Contra Costa County Issues Committee co-chair and an e-board and delegate candidate for AD 16. I am also recently won an election for the Sierra Club San Francisco Bay chapter, as well as the Tri-Valley Group Executive Committee. And I'm a disability and caregiver rights advocate and healthcare provider. I am proudly running along Sylvia Young, who is an author and organizer, as well as a commissioner for women and girls. Alexandria Rubio, who's a cancer survivor and disability advocate, and was also a volunteer on my campaign. Jamie Salcedo, who's a healthcare marketing manager, Walnut Creek Transportation Commissioner. Sarah LaShawn Lau, who's a mechanical engineer, worked for Luz Gomez's San Ramon City Council campaign, and she almost won shy of 70 votes against a Republican incumbent. And on the other than self-identified female, we have Greg Bonato, IBEW 595, Alameda Labor Council delegate, and Cody Keller, who's a cybersecurity analyst, Richard Adler, who's a retired author and volunteer, Connor O'Neill, who's a law student at UC Hastings, and Asa Stroud, who's a senior business analyst, nonprofit manager. As your delegates, we are going to prioritize engaging young people and re-engaging people who left our party because they lost hope and trust, to listen to all and continue to unify our party without ever compromising our values and the issues we deeply care about. Fighting for your interests and not that of party insiders. Bringing in a new vision for the party that is grounded on inclusion, diversity, both racial and socioeconomic, honesty, transparency, compassion, and selflessness. During these trying times, we need bold representation to effect fundamental change and to protect our most vulnerable families. Just a few of our main topics are going to be healthcare as a human right, the Green New Deal, workers' rights and ensuring a livable wage, student loan debt forgiveness and free college education for the poorest among us as a top priority, racial justice, criminal justice reform and police demilitarization, caregiver and disability rights, and housing as a human right, especially during COVID-19 and our economic recovery thereafter, which is obviously many people of color face the highest rate of infection and prospect of homelessness. And hopefully we will get the $2,000 assistance that we need. Thank you for your time and consideration. We hope to earn your support and have a happy new year. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Marisol. My name is Sarah Lashin-Liu, and I'm running alongside Marisol to be an Assembly District Delegate for AD 16. And I'm really grateful to be running alongside a slate of 10 incredible candidates, some of whom are on this call and all of whom Marisol just listed. What inspires me most about the slate that I'm running on is that we all come from very incredibly diverse personal and professional backgrounds. We have people on this slate who ran for public office, who are entrepreneurs and artists and engineers and technologists. And it is that culmination of lived experiences that is exactly what brought us together. And it makes us want to make our party, state, and country better. And we have a new, fresh, different perspective because of our diverse backgrounds. We believe that every single voter and voice in society deserves political representation, but we also believe that it's very hard to achieve that when most of the decisions are being made by political insiders and special interests. So our collective interest and purpose as a slate is to prioritize public engagement, people-powered clean money politics, progress in tech, health, education, and family policies, all while remaining a party of, by, and for the people. You can visit our Slate website to learn more about our candidates at togetherweriseslate.com. I've also put some information in the chat box, and now I'll hand it over. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention.
Okay, I think the next person will be Asa.
Yep, that's me. First, want to start off by saying thank you for endorsing my candidacy for school board in Livermore. It's kind of an uphill battle for a progressive run for office out here, so it really does mean a lot to get your guys' support. I'm going to try not to repeat too much that Marisol and Sarah has said. So I just want to highlight that, when it comes to myself running, it really is about taking these progressive values and getting them on the party platform, but it's also just not the platform. We have a lot of elected officials who don't necessarily align with the platform, and they kind of pick and choose where they, things kind of come and go. Like an elected official out here will make comments about housing that doesn't make sense in Orinda because of how the community is being structured versus it making sense in Dublin. And, we really need to start holding our elected officials within our party responsible. So that's kind of the main factor for my motivation, is to not only push these policies that Marisol and Sarah had already mentioned, but to then also go to our elected representatives out in the area and then just tell them like, hey, we're not going to endorse you unless you actually start stepping up to the plate and supporting these publicly. And so for myself, that's really one of the biggest motivations. The other ones, just making sure that we have a California that works for everybody. I grew up relatively low income and have been very fortunate as a tech worker, and now consider myself kind of a class trader and want to continue to push for those who don't grow up with a lot in terms of socioeconomics, and to make sure that they have the same opportunities that I had growing up, but as a single mom who sacrificed a ton just to get me to where I am, and make sure that they have all the same opportunities as well. But yeah, so like I said, I don't want to take too much time because I know we have a lot of speakers. So Carol, I think I'll just end it there. And I just want to say I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to represent AD 16, which I know is a relatively conservative Democratic district. And I want to make it more progressive Democratic district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to make a little digression here in the order we're doing this. We have a person from District 18, Ed Hernandez, who's not on a slate, and he is asked to speak. So he's going to go next. And then we're going to have Ruskell Kaya Yang from District 14, who has to leave shortly. And then we'll do the other slate in District 16. Okay, Ed, go for it.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for our Revolution East Bay for giving me a few seconds here to speak. I've recently been elected to the City Council in the past for the last 4 years. I'm not on any council, but I'm proud of the work that I've done. And one of my last votes in 2020 was to support East Bay Community Energy's clean energy 100% by 2030. It's a bold initiative, a great place marker to ensure there is climate justice and an opportunity to create clean energy jobs. And I'm really looking to align better with the Democratic Party and do what I can to be that person, to be a champion. Most recently been elected and been, endorsed by the building trades and other local, county, and state officials. So I'm hoping to hear more and how I can become more progressive and maybe in the future join the slate. But I threw my hat in the ring and I appreciate the support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I just got a message. There's another person from District 18, Melody. Did you, I'm not sure if she spoke yet, but if she didn't and would like to, she's welcome to speak. I don't know her last name. Is there a Melody here from District 18?
Melody Davis.
I don't know the last name.
I spoke already.
Oh, okay.
Come on
Okay.
now, Carol. Wake up, Carol.
I didn't know your last name.
It's Davis.
Okay, okay, let's
No,
move on.
Melody, Melody, it was
Move
me.
on
I
to
told her.
District 14. We're gonna move on
Okay.
to District 14. Okay, Ruskell?
Hi, Carol. Oh, good. You can hear me. Good afternoon, Our Revolution East Bay. My name is Ruskell, representing Assembly District 14, Progressives for Change slate. The reason why our slate is running is we need to elect candidates who truly represent the community. If we care about bringing more inclusion, diversity, transparency, accountability, racial justice, LGBTQ rights, economic justice, climate justice, and more, we're the team to support. And I'd like to also share who else is on my team, as many of you I've worked with in the past in the community. For example, Brennan Crawford, who's from the East Bay. She's been in social justice work for 50 years and training LGBTQ people to run for public office and helping with many LGBTQ Democratic clubs. Tom Bilbo, Stonewall Club chair, and Susan Delano, who's worked at SIU to Planned Parenthood. Susan George, who's a longtime progressive, effective coalition builder who knows how to navigate the Democratic Party process. Matthew Finkelstein, who's a Democratic Club president with many years in the state party. A young Filipina Lalani Casada. Steve Sillen, who's a former teachers union and teacher who wants to improve public education. Philip Maui Wilson, who's a young Black man, member of the LGBTQI community who wants to address police accountability. And lastly, Carrie Birdseye, who worked on climate justice, especially in Benicia, and she wants to work on getting dirty money out of politics. We're the team that's free from any special interest and alignment with controversial special interest individuals to support. And we're honored to be endorsed from Solano County Supervisor Monica Brown to Benicia Mayor Steve Young and Loyal Mayor Barb McConnell and the Progressive Dems of Benicia. We would be honored with your support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruskell. Okay, is there anybody else from District 14 here? I don't believe there is. Okay, now we're going to go back to District 16. There are two slates running in 16, so we're going to hear from, I don't know the name of the slate, I apologize. So if somebody would just take it from there that's on that slate.
Thank you, Carol. This is Mark Van Landuit. The name of the slate is Forward California for AD 16. It's the progressive slate. It's been endorsed by Congressman Ro Khanna and endorsed by Our Revolution Contra Costa. And I'm so happy to be here at Our Revolution East Bay. It's nice to be back home, if you know what I mean. You've heard me talk so much. I just can't help but take advantage of the opportunity to talk in front of all these ADEM candidates to tell them to not forget that they will be voting for the next chair of the California Democratic Party. Now, the current chair of the California Democratic Party is someone named Rusty Hicks. And if you haven't heard of Rusty Hicks, there's a reason. Rusty is a pleasant person. But in terms of ideology, his ideology is much like his personality. It's rather opaque. In this time, we have a chance to, the choices are between Rusty Hicks and Delane Easton, who you may have remembered running for governor of California back in 2018. Rusty, I have to say something about, who's a pleasant person, a nice guy, but he's been very dishonest with the delegation. He made a promise not to take fossil fuel money. He has not honored that promise. A couple of years ago, I had a resolution to get military industrial complex money out of the party. It was written by myself and Marcy Winograd. That was blocked by Rusty Hicks and his circle. So this is just something that will be one of your responsibilities if you are so lucky to be elected as an ADEM delegate. And to all these ADEM delegates, I just want to say, do not get co-opted. You're going to be in the belly of the beast. So go in as activists and stay activists, because inter-party politics, it can really take up a lot of your time, a lot of your mental space. So stay away from the gossip circles, stay focused. Bernie won California. That means the progressive agenda won California. And in this time of COVID, it demands so much more of all of us. So we need to be fighting inside the party. So like I said, I'm part of the Forward California progressive slate. And one of the wonderful people that are on that slate are with us here. And I'm going to put her on the hot seat. I'm going to put it over to her because she has a fantastic story to tell us. She's calling in from Georgia, where the Sunrise Movement, of which she's a member, is fighting hard to make sure that the Senate is no longer GOP. And so if she is with us now, Maria Estevez, are you with us?
I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. I give it over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm actually back. I came back New Year's.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, I was there for almost a week, just canvassing, and we had to see the vote and Unite Here, local Unite Here there. It's a very interesting and very inspiring experience. Talked to a lot of voters over there who were not considering voting at all. And with a lot of gentle nudge, they actually changed their mind. I specifically talked to this one person who's in her 20s with 3 years old, three kids, who were not considering voting because she felt like her voice didn't matter. And we contacted each other through the phone, through text after canvassing, and she actually voted. So those are, so very, very, I miss it now. I want to go back and do it all over again. But I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having us here. I'm running with Forward California in 8016. And I will not repeat everyone's reason for running. The main thing for me is the Green New Deal. Like what Marisa mentioned earlier, I am organizer with the Sunrise Bay Area. This is my first time with ADEMS, running for ADEMS, and I am not really into politics. I do not like politics at all, but this previous election cycle, I have volunteered for Bernie, and I've also interned for Audrey Denny, who was a progressive for Congressional District 1 up in Reading. And I was really inspired to hear the progressive voices that are out there. And I decided to run for ADEMS because I feel like we need true progressive voices in the California Democratic Party. It's just been like, I'll leave it at that. But anyway, I'm also a registered nurse. I do that as my paid work. I work in Walnut Creek as a registered nurse, part of CNA as well. And for me, it's just my patients are really important to me. And that's what I want to do here. I want to be able to help people out. I want to be able to make a difference in people's lives. And I feel like outside my job and outside my organizing experiences is one of the reasons how I can make a difference in a local level and also like make a difference in people's lives. And I'm very excited. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Can I ask a quick question about Georgia? Well, I mean, what's the political climate down there in your estimation? What's the feeling that you get?
We were actually in the Atlanta area in Gwinnett County. So there was a lot of Democrats. Well, the people that we canvassed were mostly undecided.
Right.
But leaning Democrat. So we had, so far there's like over 100,000 folks who weren't considering voting have voted already.
Yes.
So it's pretty exciting. The numbers were looking good as far as, last numbers we checked.
The early votes is off the charts in Georgia. I'm hoping. Thank you, Maria. Maria, who's part of the Sunrise Movement and is a great activist. On the Forward California slate, we have so many other wonderful people. I'll just give them a quick rundown. Thomas Tellner, who was my predecessor on the Progressive Caucus, the California Democratic Party. Stephen Finch, who's a special needs educator and an investigative journalist. We kind of need a lot of those people inside the California Democratic Party. We also have great civic leaders, Linda Deschambault, who was the former mayor of Moraga, great environmentalist, strong supporter for Bernie. Arun Goul, who was former vice mayor of the city of Dublin and was an early co-signer for the Bay Area Green New Deal. Also, Joey Murrow, who is the founder, one of the co-founders of YDSA at Diablo Valley College. And so we always have to be fighting for the party of the future. We always have to be fighting for the future. And also amongst us, with us right now, is one of the co-founders of the California Green New Deal Coalition. And nobody worked harder in this district for Bernie Sanders than this person who I'm going to introduce now. She is an activist with incredible kindness and incredibly hardworking. And she's with us now. I hope she doesn't mind me putting the spotlight on her. It's Dr. Vitska Medema. Dr. Vitska.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. And also thank you, Maria. I feel so honored that you are part of our slate. I think one of the things that I find really remarkable about our slate is that we are filled with people who are, solid activists who are not afraid to put their hands and feet in the mud, so to say, and work hard for all our progressive goals. I had a chance to introduce myself last time, so I'll keep it really short. But I would be honored to receive your vote. I'm really excited about all the people that we have as part of our slate. I'm a big proponent of the Green New Deal. Also, of course, Medicare for All now in the pandemic. It becomes so incredibly obvious how important it is for us as a country to move to this as soon as possible. I just became a citizen. I have lived in the United States since 2008 on and off, but have not become a citizen until it took a little bit longer because of the pandemic. I was hoping to become a citizen before the primaries so I could vote for Bernie. Couldn't do it. And then I also didn't manage to become a citizen before the general election. But I became one beginning of December, so I'm very new. But I'm also proud of this country. I think we can do so much better. We have so much potential, and I would love to be a part of that transformation. So I'm very honored to be a part of our slate and very honored to be considered for your vote. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. One thing that we've kind of dropped out, and there's been a request in the chat, if we could, in each one of the districts, have somebody give a list of the cities. Wichke, could you give the cities for your district first, and then we'll go to District 18? And
it's in the chat.
Is it in the chat?
Thank you, Maria.
Okay, that's taken care of then. Okay, is there anybody else in District 16 that would like to speak? Okay, I think the next district, we have at least one person here from District 20. I saw her name here a minute ago. And I don't see it now. Anybody from District 20 who would like to speak? Surabjit Chima, are you interested in speaking?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, are you running for ADEMS?
Yes, I am. And
Okay.
I have served as a ADEM delegate for 3 terms before. So this time I am a candidate with the people powered progressive slate, and Winnie Bacon, Kelsey Fresno, and many other progressives. They are on our slate. Your help to get us elected, because competition will be very hard, as you might expect from Winnie's election. And you might remember I also ran for the mayor, and I really appreciate your support, although I did not make it this time. But hopefully, there will be other opportunity. So we need to, and I have already pledged for Adelaine Easton to be the party chair. And that's part of our pledge when we have accepted the candidates in our slate. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else from District 20 here? Do you know, or is it just you?
Just me.
Okay.
Yeah, I will take the message to and share it with the Kelsey and Winnie Bacon and everybody else.
Okay. I'd actually just like, people have brought up Delane Easton a couple of times. Delane is going to be at our next meeting on the 7th of February. So I just want people to know that now. Plus, we have another special guest, but I'm not telling you who it is. Anyway,
Good to know.
Yeah, so it'll be an opportunity for, it'll be after the ADEMS election, but it'll be an opportunity for people to meet and ask questions of Delane.
So one more thing I can share is I live in Union City, and Adelaine Easton is originally from Union City, and she was a council member in Union City, and then she became the assembly member. So this is her hometown, and we are proud to support her. Rusty actually called me himself because in the last chair's election, I was asked by our assembly member Bill Cork to support Rusty, but I supported Kimberly. So and same thing for the governor. I was one of the delegates who voted for Delane Easton, and I was asked by our assembly member AD Bill Cork to support Governor Newsom, but I kept my promise. That's all.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak.
You're very welcome. We're glad to see you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here from any other district in California that's running to be an ADEM delegate? Anybody? No. Okay. Well, we actually wrapped that part up on time. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask about any of them?
What about AD 15?
AD 15. Okay, AD 15. Sorry about that. Yeah, we actually had a lot of people from AD 15. We worked, our Revolution East Bay worked along with people in the slate and actually putting that slate together. And our Revolution East Bay has endorsed that slate. However, we want to give everybody an opportunity to speak. So if you'd like to speak, go for it.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Shane Crupato. I am a member of our Revolution East Bay. I am running for ADEM for AD 15. Some of my platforms are sustainable regional energy reliability and resilience, full cycle justice and reentry reform, enhanced pre-K and senior services, expanding Medicare for all to include dental and vision, improve transit access, infrastructure, and rider experience, adapt affordable housing to include low and very low income, address food hardship through less restrictive zoning, and further disaster preparedness, readiness, and recovery. My community involvement, I am a planning commissioner and vice chair of the Public Works Commission for the city of Berkeley. And I was appointed by Councilmember Rigel Robinson. Through those commissions, I serve as the chair of the $100 million T1 bond subcommittee, the 5-year paving plan subcommittee, and also chair of the utility undergrounding subcommittee. Additionally, I'm on the Southside Environmental Impact Report, in Southside Environmental Impact Subcommittee, as well as I'm the vice president of membership for the East Bay Young Democrats. Additionally, I'm a board member on the Berkeley Democratic Caucus, and I am on the LGBTQ+ caucus for the League of California Cities. One additional thing that's fairly recent, I'm a 2021 fellow on the New Leadership Council, part of the San Francisco chapter, which is a nationwide organization. And then for my professional experience, I am a summer lecturer in the College of Environmental Design at UC Berkeley, and I am the founder of a startup called Zeden, which is a architecture and planning consulting firm that focuses on government and institutional facilities master planning and product development. And then prior to my career in architecture and planning, I worked at the Mayo Clinic as a healthcare worker in the neuro ICUs, and then worked in the molecular genetics lab, all while being in the Army Reserves as a 68 Whiskey healthcare specialist / combat medic. So far, I've received several exciting endorsements throughout the community. I believe I have 8 endorsements from elected officials and about 9 or so from appointed individuals serving in public official roles. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but if you have not registered to vote, please do. Again, my name is Shane Kirpata, and I hope to receive your support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Shane. When people actually vote, if for some reason they don't want to vote for somebody on our endorsed slate, you might remember Shane's name. Anyway, okay.
There are a couple people with their hands up.
Okay.
Joy
Is
Moore.
somebody call on them?
Joy Moore.
Yeah, thank you for this forum. Haven't joined this before, but I would like to ask all of the candidates, you can pick one person from each district, it doesn't matter. What are your plans for keeping the momentum? Because I just want to remind everybody, we had a Democratic African-American president who did very little. I don't want to clown him or talk about him, but one of the reasons I think it happened is because we elected him and then we didn't do anything after that. So what are y'all's plans to keep the momentum going so that we can really get our issues met? And I wanted to ask who will address the issue of making a distinction between wealthy Democrats and everybody else. Because that's what we need. That's the distinction I think we need. We're all saying the Democrats are this, the Democrats are that. Well, there's some wealthy Democrats who are not. And we need to look at that. Anyway, anybody can address those 2 issues for me. How do we keep the momentum going? How do we get more progressives elected and voting and active? And what are your plans for helping bring more progressives into the government?
Okay, who would like to address these questions?
You only got a minute.
Hey, I would like to, and Joy, I just really want to uplift you because this is actually very important, and one of the reasons why I decided to run. My name's Alexandra Rodriguez. I am with 8015, the Progressive Labor Slate. I'm a severely low-income Black woman, and one of the reasons why I decided to run was because exactly what you said. There's the wealthy Democrats, and then there's us. Every single time that a decision is made, it hits the low-income people first. So with my experience with basically every single program, I mean, you name it, I'm on it. I'm on WIC, I'm on Section 8, I'm on, you know what I mean? And so I want to be able to bring representation and making sure that we are holding folks accountable when it comes to representation for lower income folks, when it comes to Medicare for all, when it comes to COVID-19 response. So exactly what you said, that hits me to my heart. And that's why I really felt compelled to say something about it, because that needs to happen. Lower income Black communities, Black and Brown communities, they really need a voice. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm running on the Progressive Labor Slate with 8015.
Okay, great. Thank you. One other person has said they would like to answer that also, and that's Marisol. Do you want to speak, Marisol?
So,
Hi, Marisol. Hi.
Joy. How
How
are
you
you?
doing?
Good, dear. Thank you so much. Thank you for your question, because that is something that is truly very important to me. As many of you probably know, I've been a single mother of a cancer survivor who had several sequela issues and disabilities as a consequence. I had to struggle for most of my life, a good now 25 years. Even since my childhood, my mother was also a single mother of 3 girls in tow. And I had my first job when I was 12. I was just kind of like had to sneak in there and beg somebody to give me a job because my mom couldn't afford to pay for all of us. We all had to pitch in as early as 12 years old. So this is an issue that's really important to me. And this is why, like, every time when I talk about diversity, I always say racial and socioeconomic, because people always forget that the least represented people are people who are struggling socioeconomically. They're the ones who cannot participate in this political process very often. And I asked that question actually of our chairs. And that is going to be a deciding factor for me, how well they answer that question in terms of, because that's what I think is lacking in our party. In terms of keeping the momentum going. And this is a second interesting, Joy, you're reading my mind. The other question I had asked is, we have a great party platform, but it seems that all too often it's not getting implemented, right? I mean, sort of like it's great in word, but not action. We're not getting it done. And so I think that one of the ways that we start to create and maintain momentum is to start working through our central committees and holding accountable our own local elected officials when they're not following the party platform. I think we need to give that local voice, and together collectively across the state we'll be stronger. And then obviously when we bring that to when we have these conventions, obviously we will be much stronger in numbers once if we are working locally first together and then working at large as well. Thank you for your question, Joy.
So Igor's had his hand up for a while.
Hi, Igor. How you doing?
Hello. So I just wanted to give a shout out to another candidate in AD 14 who I personally vouch for. She is running as an independent. It's Cassandra James. She's here, and I was hoping that we might be able to give her some mic space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Well, I think it's evening time. You know, the days have been blurred since February last year. Regardless, I want to thank you, Igor, for giving me the space, and thank you to everyone else for providing the time. I am running for AD 14, which includes Vallejo, Benicia, Clayton, Concord, Pittsburgh, Rodeo. Yes. And also, I'm running not on the slate. As someone new to this process, I didn't understand the importance of being on the slate, which provides exposure, provides connections and networks. And I was given the opportunity to run with the slate. However, I decided not to due to the polarized context of what was happening in my current city, Vallejo. And I want to make sure that I remain a neutral voice within Vallejo. I was born in San Francisco, California. I come from Bayview, Hunters Point, and I went away to college to Dillard University. However, Hurricane Katrina sent me back home. And that was my full understanding of what America was. So just having to come back from New Orleans to San Francisco and dealing with the obstacles in between, from the racism, classism, sexism, I became fully immersed within the political scene in San Francisco, starting off as a youth commissioner representing Bayview Hunters Point. Also, I worked with the Transitional Age Youth Initiative to making sure that folks understand that just because you turn 18 doesn't mean that you know how to do everything. Who knows how to pay bills at 18? who knows how to actually cook or do whatever, even how to secure a deposit at 18. So expanding services for youth up to the age of 24, transitional age youth. Also, I've worked with the Center for Young Women's Development, where I was able to work with system impacted young women who were involved in the underground street economy and who were also being sent back to counties that did not have services. Although I worked in San Francisco, and as we know, San Francisco has a wealth of resources, have a wealth of dollars and nonprofits. When girls are coming or young women are coming to San Francisco for drug sales, but then they're sent back to Contra Costa County, then they're sent back to Solano County with no resources, as well as just getting the counties together, because we know that folks go to Oakland for sex work. Folks go to San Francisco for drug sales. But when they come back home, they don't have the necessary resources to transition or to get out of the lifestyle because they're a part of that to survive. Lastly, I'm trying to fit everything into 2 minutes because I know that your time is precious. But lastly, this helps my own transition because I could no longer afford to live in San Francisco. San Francisco was my home. I grew up across the street from Candlestick Park, and we used to sneak into the games all the time because we couldn't afford to go to the games. I understand what it means to have to get into the tub because people are shooting outside. I understand what it have to mean to step up and fight because otherwise I would have been bullied every day. I understand what it means to use my voice in an effective way because others don't have that time or others didn't have the platform to do so. So being a gentrified person from San Francisco, now I'm in Vallejo and I understand the dynamics of me coming into Vallejo and being conscious of the community that I am now a part of. I want to do my best to make sure that I contribute to this community the best way that I can. And I do have 2 boys who were born in Vallejo, and they are from Vallejo. This is all that they know. And as we know that Vallejo has one of the most deadliest police forces in California. And this past year has been a hard year, especially having conversations with my 6-year-old on why there are people in the street protesting, saying that he matters. There are people in the streets saying that this is what we need, and dealing with that racial reckoning that has been going on in this country for so long. And also just explaining why is Corona impacting him and his friends the most. Like he doesn't understand. So having to explain these things in a way, it made me want to be more proactive than reactive, because trust me, if anything happens to my baby, there's nothing like a mother scorn. So this is a way for me to be proactive and get ahead of whatever policies may come his way and look at it through a racial equity lens and include our LGBT brothers and sisters, and include our sisters and brothers who don't have the paperwork. It's not necessarily that they crossed the border crossed them a long time ago, and we need to acknowledge the land that we do stand on and who was impacted. This is generational, and it's our time now to move forward and put people in place who have been hungry, who lives paycheck to paycheck, who understands that this $600 was disrespectful and it only paid one bill, and who can have the courage to tell folks that don't have those same struggles that I'm not going to stand for this. I want to make sure that there's equity. I want to make sure that it's transparency and that my community understands. And sorry if I get kid bombed, but also know that we do belong in this process. We do understand what's going on. It's just that the jargon that's used is often a door to keep us out, and that we do want progress by implementing moving beyond the lip service and implementing the policies that do impact us. So thank you again so much for giving me the space and time. And thank you, Igor.
Thank you, Cassandra. But can you remind us of what your last name is?
Yes, my last name is James, Cassandra James.
Okay.
LeBron James is not my cousin.
Put it out there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions, or can we move on with our agenda, or Candace?
I don't see anybody else with their hand raised.
Okay, so as everybody knows, the ADEM process has begun. We're in the process right now of asking for our ballots so we can vote. This time, as I'm assuming everyone knows, it won't be live. You have to go online and request your ballot. And the ballots are going to start being mailed out by, I believe, tomorrow or the next day. And you can start filling them out and returning them. They must be requested by the 11th, which is next week. They need to be returned by the 27th. They need to be received by the 27th. We're asking people to get them in the mail by the 20th. And so who are the people that we're going to be voting? I mean, I'm going to vote. I think everybody here is going to vote, but we're going to need a lot more votes. And this isn't something that gets advertised. There's no commercials on TV or anything about voting in the ADEM elections. So it's up to us to find people that will vote. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. One of the things we're doing is we're going to provide lists in the script for people who would like to help call our mailing list of, a couple thousand people. And we won't burden anybody with more than like 100 names or so. So let us know, send us an email, tell us you want to help make phone calls. We'll get you a list. Tell us what district you're in also, because we want to divide it up by zip codes. So we can, if you live in East Oakland, we don't want to give you the phone numbers of people up in Vallejo, as an example. We want you to be able to call people in your district. And as much as possible, we wanted to do Facebook ads, but I understand that's not happening now. Facebook is not accepting political ads, and they probably won't until after the 20th of January, which will be kind of getting pretty late into the game. So one of the things I personally do, like I belong to a little garden here in Berkeley. I've asked all the 15 members of that if I can send them a link and if they can register, and I'm providing them a list of names of people that we support. There's a lot of ways. Is Bernie Lenhoff here? I know he's been doing something on Facebook.
I don't see
I think maybe he didn't make it here. He's been doing it on Facebook, and it's really inspiring on the people. He's every day getting people to request ballots, people who've never even heard of this.
Carol?
And so basically, we need to speak to everyone that we know. I suggest everybody pick 20 people or more that they know and call them or email them or whatever and ask them to request a ballot.
Carlos has his hand up too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go for it,
Carol,
Carlos.
a couple of questions or suggestions maybe. I joined late, so maybe you said this at the very beginning. I apologize. But is there any chance that there could be an email out to all of the members with a link, like you said, of where to go to register, number one, and number two, not to register, I meant to request a ballot. And number two, can you send an email out with the list of the names of the different candidates that we support, that the Our Revolution supports, because I know people have talked today, but I'll forget the names.
Yeah.
It's actually on our
Yeah,
website. We have a page
go
for it.
ahead, Jake, go ahead.
I was going to say, on our website, ourrevolutioneastbay.org, we have an ADEM section. If you go there, under the endorsement section, you'll see ADEMs.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jake.
Yep.
And is there a link there for people to request a ballot also?
Yes, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's the actual instructions that you're going to need to follow.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Also, somebody just added on the chat, you could actually click on that, and while we're sorting things out, you could register. It just takes 2 minutes. So what's going to happen? You're going to request the ballot. You must be a Democrat to do this. You're going to request the ballot. It'll get sent to you. I believe they're going to start in the next day or two sending them out. And then you're going to also get an email that will have a code in that you need to keep. That's your proof that you've gotten the ballot, I believe. And then you'll need to fill out the ballot and send it back. Okay.
It looks like Sudia has her hand up.
Okay. Sudia?
I think she's I need to unmute her.
Good. I was just going to say, I went to register, but then they rejected my registration. It has to be the exact way that you're registered for voting otherwise. So I put in my middle name, and I guess on my regular ballot, I don't have a middle name. So just kind of be conscious. You have to have the same address, the same phone number, the same date of birth, and your name written exactly the same way.
And if you're unsure of what it is, you can go to vote.org and look it up how you're.
Okay, okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah, if you add a middle name or don't add your middle name and you use it or anything like that, they can't find you. It has to be exact. So if you don't get through on the first try, make a little change. Okay. Anything else on this? Okay, I think we're ready to actually move on to another part of
Susanna,
the program then. I think first we're going to talk about our
Carol.
Yeah.
Susanna Williams has her hand up.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Carol.
Hi,
hey, I just wanted to say on that registering for ADEMs, it's even pickier than you can imagine. When I registered my husband, and I just picked one of his personal email addresses, and it actually rejected it. So I tried his other email address, and it worked. So his other personal email address must be the one he used when he set up his voter registration. So it's actually that picky. So just if you have multiple email addresses and it doesn't go through the first time, you might have registered with a different one. So try that one.
That's another form of voter suppression, if you ask me.
Oh,
hey, Carol.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Carol?
You finished, Susanna? Yeah. Okay. Joaquin? Joaquin?
You're muted, Joaquin.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't get how you raise your hand. Anyway, we're printing up about 500 for one of our AD15 members who Connie Smith is going to distribute them out to union workplaces, nurses and all. So
Is it a slate card, Joaquin?
Yeah, it's designed by Alfred Twu. It's very, very good. So if anybody wants to add on to that order, let me or Alfred know. And I still think it's something people get in their hands. If they're still going to work and all that in a workplace, that will help get people out to vote. But it's going to be printed up next week.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I just noticed looking through who's here, and we have AD 15 person, Connie Taylor, who wasn't at the previous meeting, I believe. Connie, if you'd like to speak for a minute or so and introduce yourself, we'd love it. Would you like to?
Hi, I'm Connie Taylor Smith, and I ran 2 years ago, so this is my second time. But I really think healthcare should be a right, especially with the way the pandemic is. My grandson, my daughter, they work for Walmart, and Walmart does not offer healthcare. They give you a form to sign up for Medi-Cal when you're hired there, and they can't find a doctor because the reimbursement rate is so low. And so they haven't seen a doctor in years. And I know my daughter needs to go to the doctor. My grandson, he's only 19, but that's why I'm in this fight. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, are there any more people, anybody running in any district in California that would like to say something? I want everybody to have an opportunity. Anybody? Going once, okay. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple reports now. One from Jake, who is instrumental in putting together a huge town hall series that we're setting up right now. Could you speak about that for a couple minutes, Jake?
Yeah, so we're putting together a town hall series. Basically, it's going right now. It's just called Town Hall East Bay. There'll be different topics. I talked about it at the last meeting. The first one coming up is going to be on criminal justice reform, and we got Dr. Bilal Ware, Pamela Price, Dr. Jody Armour, and Chesa Boudin as our speakers. And it will be on January 30th, coming up 2021 at 5 p.m. I'm putting a link down in the chat. Oops, that's to, let me put it to everyone. And that will have the information for the town hall. We're going to be streaming this live on Facebook and YouTube. This meeting is actually the first test of that. That's why we wanted to do it now, get it all squared away before we go to the big time. And so that meeting will actually be, that town hall will actually be about criminal justice history, because that's going to be the first part. And so we're going to talk about the events and the decisions that were made to basically create the criminal justice system that we have now, and how it's actually implemented and dealing with the problems that we have now. Yeah, so again, that's January 30th, 2021. Link is in the chat, ourrevolutioneastbay.org, and then there's a town hall link up there at the top right. And hopefully y'all can sign up for that. There's a separate town hall sign up so that you can get town hall specific information at the bottom of that page. And you can also subscribe to the Facebook event or set a reminder on YouTube, because we have a YouTube page now. It's you'll have to look for Our Revolution East Bay in YouTube, because we don't get the special link yet until we have like 4,000 minutes or hours of views. But until then, check it out. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay, we're going to get an update on our social media from Matthew Lewis now.
You caught me just as I was sending a tweet from the chapter account.
All right,
So
it works, huh?
Yeah. Yes, we got it up and running on Thursday. I'm Matthew. I'm the social media coordinator. I want to actually start by, and also am the webmaster. I just want to start briefly by thanking Jake, who has been putting up some stuff both on the webpage and also on the Facebook page, both stuff that I couldn't do, but also some stuff that I could do, but that he's been very helpful doing. So I just want to acknowledge that he's also been helping with both of those things, including making. So thank you, Jake, for all of that. So we have a Facebook page and we have a Twitter account, as well as a website. Website went live during the election. So those are all really exciting. I'm going to be working to make sure that we have the event pages for our Facebook events for all of our meetings up a few weeks, ideally before every meeting, so that you can help get the word out. Also, our website, if you want to pay dues because you're not yet a dues-paying member, go to the website, ourrevolutioneastbay.org, and you'll see at the top a link that says donate or pay dues. Go there to pay dues, please. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. And
Okay,
we'll
great.
hopefully also be on Instagram soon.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks for what you're doing too. It's like really getting us out there. We have 2 more reports, and then we're going to have a discussion together about where we're going from here. So the next 2 reports, Igor wants to talk about elections in the Sierra Club, and then Alfred is going to talk about Medicare for All and writing to Newsom. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And sorry that you can't see my face. I'm on the road right now, heading back home. I wanted to thank you all, those of you who attended a meeting a couple of months ago. I told you about local Sierra Club elections, and I wanted to thank all of you who registered and signed up to be a Sierra Club member. We were quite successful this time around in ensuring that our local leadership has a number of Bernie-crat voices in it, including none other than Dr. Witzka and Mark in the Mount Diablo Group Executive Committee, and you've heard from Marisol previously, and she was elected to the chapter and the group in the Tri-Valley, and thanks to your support, I was re-elected to the Northern Alameda County Group Executive Committee. I'm here before you today to urge you to participate in the national board election for the Sierra Club, which sounds quite internal, but if you think about it, for $15, which is what registration is to become a member, you can vote locally, and you can also vote for a national board that makes decisions on environmental and environmental justice issues every single day that cover one of the most influential environmental organizations in the nation. I'm here before you today to announce that I am running as one of the 8 candidates for 5 spots on the Sierra Club National Board. And I'm running as one of just 2 Californians. I'm sorry, one of 3 Californians, but the only millennial in the race. And as far as I know, the only loud and proud Bernie-crat on the ballot. So I would be honored to earn your vote. The way to do that, if you are a member, just stick around until February when you will be getting a ballot, and make sure to return it by April. If you're not a member, I'm going to drop a link in the chat. For $15, you can sign up to become a member and be a part of these decisions. I encourage you to do that by January 20th, Inauguration Day. January 31st is the final day by which you need to be in the system, but because it takes a few days to from the time register to be in the system, I encourage you to do it by January 20th. So really, same day that you return your ballot for ADEM, please consider joining the Sierra Club. It's just $15 for a membership, or $35 for a joint membership where you get 2 votes. And thank you again for all of your support. As Barney always says, not me, us. Let's continue the fight together. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Igor. Is Alfred available?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So today I'm going to talk to you about the latest on the campaign for Medicare for All. in California. It's also called the CalCare campaign. So some of you may have remembered there being a campaign for the state legislature to pass a bill for Medicare for All a couple of years ago. It's back again. And what's different now is that Javier Becerra is being appointed to run the Federal Health and Human Services Department, and he's a supporter of Medicare for All. The governor campaigned on Medicare for All as an issue. And so the next step for the state to move forward is for the governor to make a request to the federal government to give us a waiver so that we're able to do this as a state level program. So working on this, organizing this time is the Healthy California Coalition, which has expanded here in the East Bay. We've got the East Bay Democratic Socialists on board. There's also the California Alliance for Retired Americans, the San Bernardino Young Democrats. There are several other organizations we could consider joining as well. But the specific thing I'm asking everyone to do is there is a petition you can sign on to that will be going out to the governor on the 20th. And it will also get you in the loop so that organizers will let you know when it's time to make phone calls to your state legislators and other elected officials. So that is www.petition.healthcare. And I will put this in the chat as well. Thank you.
Yeah, we're also going to send it out in our newsletter in a couple of days. So if you, for some reason, don't get it done there, that will be a reminder to sign it. Okay. Okay, I think that brings us to our big discussion about what's next. As everybody knows, we formed to support Bernie and to get Bernie elected. And that's what we've been doing for years now. And that's not what we're going to be doing in the future. But what are we going to be doing? We're going to continue, endorsing people. But there's a lot of time between now and the next election. We finish ADEMS. 2018 is the next real big election. You can still, in the next couple of days, be doing phoning for Georgia. You can support Nina Turner. But what as a group are some of the things we can be doing? And where should we be moving as a group? How can we work together to really make things happen? Anyway, we'd like to hear what people think.
Gordon has his hand up.
Since nobody is speaking, thank you, Vitska. There's a lot of ignorance about what communism, socialism, and all those isms are, and just a related economic illiteracy on the part of most people. And maybe one of the things that could be done is to get people to understand that socialism does not equal Venezuela. Socialism also equals the Netherlands and Belgium and Sweden and Germany and France and so on, all these Western European democratic countries. And that's what we're dealing with. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. One thing I think that can be done is to educate people about what neoliberalism is. I saw something very good about that today. It's woven its way into our political discourse. It's like water seeping into sand. You can barely see it, and it's imperceptibly slow sometimes. But both the Democratic leadership and all the Republicans buy off on this thing. And I don't know how many of you have heard the Powell memo. I'm a fanatic about telling people about the Powell memo, because that's where the rich people decided they were going to take over the country, and they did. And people need to understand that this occurred, and it led to how American politics works today. The rich decide and the politicians do as they're told. And for an action item, there is the We the People amendment being supported by Move to Amend that would overturn Buckley v. Vallejo and Citizens United and establish firmly that the people can decide the role of money in politics. I yield.
Can I can I share something?
Yes.
So I was driving myself and my battery was almost died. So I came home, so connected, so I can speak now. I was born and raised in India, the state province of Punjab, if you have heard about that. So I just want to know if anybody have watched the news or heard on the social media sometime, there is a farmers movement going on in India right now.
Yeah, that's been on the news quite a bit here.
Right. So I was coming back from the rally, same farmers rally. So it is same thing what we are talking about here. Rich people, there are very, very rich people in India too. Ambani and Andani, they own the Reliance network, all those internet providers and everything, and they have close ties with Mark Zuckerberg and all those rich people here in the United States. So they're trying to control the agriculture sector. They have changed the laws in other states, but when it came to the state of Punjab or province of Punjab, people reacted. So now farmers from other states, they have joined the movement. So they're still sitting in the capital of India, New Delhi, having the peaceful protests. And people, there are many people, like 30, 40 people, they have died because there is no health kind of, health aid available. And sometimes people, they have emergency or whatever, heart attack, 2 of them, they were heart attack. There were some suicides too. So my point is that all the rich people all over the world, they are connected. So we need to be stronger. So earlier there was a conversation that what should be our agenda now since election is over. So some of our champions, they got elected. For example, Mallory Schwen, what's her last name? She got elected to the New Haven board. So I have been serving there for, this is my 11th year, my 3rd term. So I have the conversation with her. So I will be training her whatever I can. So I think we need to be following up with the people who got elected, new people, and bring them on. And if they have any kind of, they need training or hand holding or anything, or if anybody wants to run for the school board, I can be helpful. So we need to keep moving and supporting people who got elected and how to govern, then how to develop the policies, or where are the resources after you get elected. Because when I got elected, I was the grassroots candidate. There was nobody who holded my hand. So I have to learn from the scratch. So I would like to share my experience with the newly elected even city council members or school board members. So I think we need to support those candidates so that more people can become successful.
It looked like Asa was wanting to ask a question and then followed with Carlos.
I think Asa departed.
Oh.
Yeah, he put it on the chat that he was leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Carlos Cohan?
Yes, actually, it wasn't a question. It was more like I want to suggest what we should do next. So I leave my time for if anybody wants to ask a question to the speaker.
Carlos, go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that the period that is coming, it's going to be important that we do a lot of education. And I agree, somebody said this before, and I would suggest two topics that I believe are important. The first one, I think we need to continue to talk about the role of money in politics and be open to all the possibilities, ideas, suggestions that people may have on how to reform, change this system. The second one, that's easy for me to speak. I know everybody, most everybody in this group agrees. The second one, I am afraid that I think we need to talk about what has happened, and I think we need to educate people. Let me put it this way. I think a lot of working class people in this country were conned by this movement of nationalism, populist nationalism. And I am afraid this was very dangerous. I think we were at the edge, and we fortunately Biden won. But I think that I'm afraid that Trump or his minions are going to continue to interfere and make democratic life almost impossible. And I am worried about the role of right-wing media. So one thing I think we need to do, or at least start the discussion on how to do, is to educate people that they were conned, that they were lied to. I think we need to uncover the big lies that they were told that they believe respectfully. I think we need to engage and explain why Trump was never really a defendant of the working class, of the working people of this country. I think it's a process of education, and I really don't know how to go about this. But I think this is, I'm sorry, did I run out of time? Okay, yeah, just wrapping up. I think this is a discussion we may want to have and see what we can do about it. I think it's a crucial discussion for the next few years.
Thank you. And Matthew has his hand up.
Can folks hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I think we need to focus on achieving concrete things. I think we need to focus on achieving concrete things. And I suggest that we pick things to lobby city councils, specific proposed ordinances to lobby city councils on, or, things like winning free mass transit from a specific agency. And I think we could focus on, for instance, better campaign finance disclosure rules in Berkeley, where like one of our endorsed candidates, Cheryl Davila, lost after big real estate developers dumped $20,000 in her race, and they funneled it. They used the dark money group, so it had like an innocuous sounding name, and there you don't. So it doesn't have to say funded by corporate developer and stuff, because they run it through a 501c4. So stuff like that, so things like that, where we write up changes to a law and get a council member to introduce them. Because we have progressive council members like Harrison in Berkeley, Fife in Oakland, RPA folks in Richmond. And so that's my suggestion on what we should do.
Thank you, Matthew. And now Susanna has her hand up.
Thanks, Candace. Yeah, just to kind of follow up on Matthew's comment, I think he is dead right. We're a relatively small group, even combining our two organizations. And I think we need to employ a little bit more strategy with how we choose the actions that we're going to move forward with, the causes that we're going to get behind, so that we can really put a lot of focus and energy behind our top causes, a la Medicare for All, the Green New Deal, like have a priority list. And obviously we need to be flexible, boots on the ground, all of that, because things will pop up. But when we put all of our efforts behind something and go for it really big, we win. And I think we need to do more of that. I also think we really need to figure out a way to get more people. Our Revolution Contra Costa is really small, and sometimes I'm like, I cannot believe that some of the stuff we managed to accomplish with like 10 people, doing it. So I'd love any and all ideas on how to bring more people into the fold. I mean, we all have thousands of people that we're connected with. A huge percentage of them are probably in the Bay Area. And I'd be like open for suggestions. Thank you.
I would actually like to see all the OR groups in the area work in a better way together. I mean, we all know each other, so we're not all doing the same thing time after time, when we can together really be a force.
I totally agree.
Agreed.
Next up is Lisa Gardner.
Hi, I'm new to the group or these meetings. I'm glad to be here. And I'm working on Delane Easton's campaign. And I joined her campaign because I was really discouraged to see how many races we lost in California. And I recently joined the National Democratic Training Committee. I'm actually in their next cohort for fundraising and communications. And I sat in a couple of like after the election, like downloads, and overwhelmingly, if there was a California candidate in there, they mentioned that they didn't get very much support from the Democratic Party. When I Googled them or whatever, a lot of them were progressives. So I feel like, and then for me, myself, I was out campaigning for other states, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time focusing on California. And I think we need to shore up like California again, and really have an opportunity to, on Delane's platform, she's really talking about filling the bench and getting more people. Even if you lose, we still need to run a Democratic candidate or a progressive candidate in every race, just to get keep getting that message out there. And I think we need to recruit. And I think we need to constantly be building and recruiting fellow friends. I mean, even if you're just throwing your name on, something and, helping pay for them to run, we just got to keep that message out there. And I think we need to take this opportunity now that everybody's kind of like, we won, and, and just go at it again and triple our efforts. I don't think there's time right now to slow down. I think now is the time to like Susanna said, just get a strategy, go out to Concord and, start trying to, bring more people into the fold. There's not a lot of people, but get your list and just start going down them and start asking them to start sending stuff out. I mean, we just really need a proactive plan that's more cohesive instead of just this herd of cats that are just running around in California. I mean, we had so much effort in like the sister district thing that I was working on, and we were helping other states, and here we lost a bunch of seats. So I think that's just a shame. And obviously I feel like that comes from the top down leadership. All of them said across the board that that was, oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you. Are you telling me time? I'm sorry. Okay.
Just wrap up.
Okay. That's pretty much my idea. And I'm happy to help. I'm also working on, I call myself a political practitioner, but I'm also a strategist. And I'm also like passionate about helping like hard to win races. I'm happy to work with people for free, even like just give them strategies for social media and stuff like that. So that's kind of my wheelhouse. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Michael, did you have your hand up?
And Mark was on stack also.
Right. I was going to say something briefly. The reason I joined Bernie was because she said, we got to get money out of politics. And it's kind of hard to do that from an individual perspective. And then Matthew's point really rang the bell with me, because right now we have ally in the city council and we want to do something specific. I think the specificity is very important. Something black and white we can actually do. If we know what the actual issues are, what are they talking about in the future meeting, through these allied who are on the city council, then we can find out what are to be discussed. Then we can go and support these issues in a progressive perspective. That is it. Thank you.
I think Surya wanted to talk. I'm not sure that she raised her hands on the system, but I can see her hand on the video.
Yeah, Mark, you can go ahead. You've been on Stack for a while.
I'll let her speak first.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Surya. You're muted. Unmute.
Click on it.
Oh,
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking logistically about the best way to proceed to try to do some activities or actions that we all do together. And probably most of you are like Sudhia and I, where we have dozens and dozens of things that come across our mailbox inbox every day saying, do this, lobby this, donate here.
Mostly donate.
Mostly donate, yeah.
Or sign.
And I'm just thinking, okay, a couple of things. Number one, I think as Bernie-crats and as because we originally came together around the campaign, around Bernie's campaign, it feels to me like let's look at Bernie's most important issues, which are the most important issues that drew most of us in here, in this group, which are Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, and racial and justice, racial and reform of the Justice Commission. So if we look at those issues and I would say on each one of those three issues, we choose one thing to do each month. Okay, so that's 3 things to do each month. It doesn't preclude some of the things that were mentioned before, because some of those things might involve lobbying our city council people. It might involve other things. But so rather than individuals, you know, just throwing something into the pot that gets on the Facebook page or something for our revolution, I think there should be a subcommittee for each one of those issues. And that subcommittee each month comes up with one thing that all of us hopefully can agree on, and most of us hopefully can actually do.
Yeah.
And so that's a way of filtering out all the static we get, because there's so many groups doing so many different things, and hopefully focusing so that each of us can do at least something on each of these 3 broad issues once every month.
And I'm going to add, and this of course is before COVID, so many things have changed, so many things we're able to do then that we can't do now. But during the primary, I think it was, we did a lot of interactive house parties about the Green New Deal, where we printed out all the parts of Bernie's Green New Deal. And 2 or 3 people would sit together and look at one part, and then we would come back together and those people would teach everybody else about all the aspects of the Green New Deal. And then we were asked to do it at Oakland Tech High School in government classes. And we worked in 6 government classes at Oakland Tech. And at the end of each session, we put on a short video of the Sunrise Movement, which got the high school kids really excited and motivated. And I mean, I work in education, so I'm, you know, totally willing to do that kind of thing, but not now. Nobody's in school. I can't go into schools. We can't have house parties. I can barely have my daughter and my granddaughter come into my house. So, you know, this is a time where in many ways we're limited to anything but Zoom and, you know, organizing this way. So we have to be kind of creative. I mean, I speak to a lot of teachers because I was director of teacher education at New College in San Francisco for 15 years. So I have so many teachers out there in the schools, and they're saying that this teaching online is challenging them in ways that classroom teaching never even did it. And so we have to recognize that we're in a different time period and how to get, creative or, powerful with what we have right now.
Thank you, Sudhia. I guess Jake is up next and then Matthew.
I think Mark was still wanting to speak.
Mark
I'll try to make it-
was before, yeah.
I
I'll try
didn't
to make
see
it
your
brief.
hand raised. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone ahead of me?
Yeah.
Sudhia, that's wonderful. I didn't know you were doing that with Bernie's Green New Deal going into schools. That's marvelous. I say this without any exaggeration. Bernie's Green New Deal legislation is a masterpiece and should be taught, piece by piece. It's so good. In terms of what we need to be concentrating on, the struggles are eternal. Healthcare, housing, education, environment, ending mass incarceration, money out of politics, destroy the billionaires before they destroy us. But on the local level, I think with COVID, we're going to be entering into an austerity politics mindset here in California. So that means education is going to be under attack. That means incarcerated communities are going to get ignored. Someone mentioned in the chat the Santa Rita jail, but education particularly is going to be under attack. And you have the charter school industry, like buzzards, like vultures waiting for that moment. So that is something that we have to be very aware of. We're going to hear austerity politics being told to us over and over again that about deficits in California. So we just have to be on guard. The crises that face us are already daunting enough, but the little ones are going to be the ones that are going to be hitting us the hardest. And one of the great qualities of the Bernie Sanders phenomenon was that it brought all these movements together under one banner. And going forward, we must keep this movement as intersected as possible. And I know it's difficult. I mean, we're already fracturing, we're already, flaying off of different issues, but we got to remember what it felt like and how we were campaigning under Bernie Sanders. All these issues are interconnected. And I think what East Bay is proposing about town halls is fantastic. I think that's the way to go in terms of the education part of things. But on Zoom, there's always that lack of energy, that frisson, that social interaction that does. It's hard to keep groups together with just Zoom, I found. Another thing, and I hate to just keep on adding to the plate, but the issue of peace, and I mean this on the federal level. So we should be concerned about the remnants of Trump's right-wing, demographic. But when I look at who Biden's bringing into his cabinet, it's very worrying in terms of Wall Street and in terms of the military-industrial complex. And so we just have to be on guard. Things are going to happen that are going to be totally surprising. And in terms of making the case for working people, we have to show and not tell. So we need to keep fighting for those policies that we know that will improve the lives of working people in a way that they can feel and see. And that's how we keep them involved. And that's how they know that they should be involved. So just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah, so basically I wanted to say, like, for us as a long-term institution, I hope that we're thinking we are, we have to realize that everything is going in a cycle. So every 4 years is a presidential, every off year is the Congress and the statewide offices, and even the presidential. And then their off years, we have ADEMs and then special elections. And then from that, we're trying to get the candidates in. So we're finding candidates, endorsing them, and helping them campaign in all the different ways and making sure they get elected. Then we need to make sure that they do the job. So really, if we're going to split up into committees, it should be along that route. Like, we should have an endorsements and elections committee, and that's all they focus on is recruiting, finding people. And then we have an advocacy committee that's basically making sure that those people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then raising hell about all the other people that are trying to get in the way of all the policy that we're trying to get put into place. So this is really, like, if you break down our problem, this is the cycle that we should look at as a whole. And then inside of that, there's going to be one-offs, like, the Santa Rita jail problem, or this COVID just long-term pandemic problem, or whatever comes up at that time. So I think we should organize ourselves around a long-term vision to get that, to help with the the process of all of it, because right now we're just kind of slapping things together as they come along and hoping that everything works. And it's probably better if we do it in a little bit more structured, organized way. Okay, that's my time.
Thank you. Matthew?
Okay, okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so I also want to I want to also speak in support of, I think, of having committees. I think I would structure it a bit differently than how folks have said. I think I think rather than say having an advocacy committee, I think we should have committees by probably have them by like subject area, like money out of politics or housing and stuff, and have and then the money out of politics folks are committees in charge of working on leading the efforts for money out of politics, rather than structuring them under a larger advocacy committee. But yeah, I think we should be working to have permanent committees, and maybe early on we'll have to do it like something ad hoc, but I think that should be how we work to do it is, setting up committees. And I think we also should have like an elections committee, like Jake was saying, and like beyond just screening for endorsements and stuff like we did this past cycle, can also work on trying to recruit candidates for races and identifying races where there are like regressive people or faux progressive people, and where we need to get somebody out and replace them with somebody good.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, starting next week, we can maybe talk about that, or next month, maybe start forming committees.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just one committee. And yeah, but also I agree with Mark about austerity, and one way that we should fight back on that is working around defunding the police. The community demand in Berkeley was to fund the police by 50%, which was ignored by the city council, other than a few council members. But if they had done that, they wouldn't have had to cut anything from the other departments, and they would have had $10 million left over to increase funding for social services, housing, healthcare, and other good stuff. So defunding the police is a crucial thing for fighting austerity.
Thank you, Matthew. That about winds it up at 6:06.
Does anybody else have anything they want to contribute? Kate? Kate, Ferrara.
I'm happy to be here with you guys. Miss all our in-person Bernie events. I'm really glad that we're having this discussion about going forward. I mean, I started doing Bernie stuff January 1st, 2016. So it's been, a 4-year journey for me. You look at Jackie Fielder's race, she's so dynamic, and she really I really thought she was going to win. I mean, she raised $750,000 in 1 week, just from grassroots organizing. Average, Bernie, $20 an hour, $20 per, donation. So I feel like it's so frustrating. You can't win a race like that, where a grassroots candidate is able to raise that much money in 1 week. Just the big money is just the biggest issue, going up against $5 million, $10 million, so I'm just trying to find a way to feel encouraged for progressives to be able to win, because it does seem like there is more and more big money coming against us. And so but I'm really grateful for our revolution, and even our Revolution National. You look at the success rate, it's been really high. For our local group in our Revolution Contra Costa, we won 18 of the 25 races we endorsed won. So there is over 70% percentage. So there is like some hope in the local races. And but I'm just grateful for all of you guys and grateful for you guys being part of, as Casey would say, my Bernie journey. And I miss doing all the stuff in person. And I'm proud of the work that we've done for Bernie and for the local races in 2018 and more recently. So it's great. Air hug.
Thanks, Kate. Same to you.
Okay, I think Craig has his hand up now.
I'm not seeing hands. Oh,
he's waving.
Oh, he's waving. Okay.
Gordon's waving also.
Okay, so Sudia and Craig first.
We can either end with an anti-war song or with an anti-deportation song.
Well, let's not end yet, but either one would work for me.
Hey, Gordon had one more question.
Another big money is probably the biggest thing we have to fight, but another one is the controlled press. And if you go into the Powell memo, you see part of the our origin of the controlled press. We do need to keep a bench of good candidates working up. And one thing we can do is to compare these people to a Bernie style platform. So there's this consistent standard. The Republicans have that. Democrats rely on the politicians to provide the platforms. The Republicans have the platform to determine the politicians. And with that, yield. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
District 15, OREB, and the people on the slate have a really, really strong platform. And we, as we moved on in taking people onto the slate, they had to agree to the platform. And it's Bernie's platform, basically. And so we need to keep that in mind, maybe for everything we do.
And are there any more questions?
Joaquin's got his hand up.
Okay, go Joaquin.
There he is, right there. He's right there, under Candace.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to suggest that the committees, that means people get committed to an issue and they work, and that's what we need. Some committees that are focused on Bernie issues, and like DSA East Bay has several thousand members and they have like a dozen committees. So we got to get organized like that too. And we need to, relate to them as well and not compete. But Wellstone Democratic Club, they have like half a dozen committees. And so we don't have any committees yet. So we need to start trying to build up our membership. One way to build our membership would be to have a listserv of emails. So if people want to belong to our group, they give us their email, and then they can email everybody else. So it's like a listserv. So you would have a moderator so people don't, hog the emails, but we can communicate as a group. People feel more involved. They can put out an email and get, some responses. And so that I think would help build our organization.
I think we should merge with some of the other.
Because right now it's just a one-way communication where we send out an email blast, but people can't, respond within our group.
We should join DSA just to be.
We did.
Thank you, Joaquin. And so Sudia and Craig, you're going to sing us some songs.
Okay, well, what would be better, an anti-war song or, which is a Phil Oak song, or an a deportation song, which is, Woody Guthrie.
I vote for the anti-war song in honor of Joe Biden's cabinet. Because I think Mark said it, you know, we've got neocons on there that are going to be itching to pull triggers and line the pockets of the military-industrial complex. So
Okay.
that's my vote.
Okay.
Phil Oakes.
For those of you who knew Phil Oakes, he unfortunately committed suicide. I think it was during the Vietnam War. So he sings about all the prior wars, but he never got to sing about either Iraq or Afghanistan or all our more recent wars. Well, I marched to the Battle of New Orleans at the end of the early British War. The young land started growing, the young blood started flowing, but I ain't marching anymore. For I killed my share of Indians in 1,000 different fights. I was there at the Little Big Horn. I heard many men a-lying, I saw many more dying, but I ain't marching anymore. Well, it's always the old that lead us to the war, always the young to fall. Now look at what we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? For I stole California from the Mexican land, fought in the bloody Civil War. Yes, I even killed my brother and so many others, but I ain't marching anymore. Well, it's always the old that lead us to the war, always the young to fall. Now look at what we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? For I marched to the battle of the German trench in a war that was bound to end all wars. Oh, I must have killed 1 million men, and now they want me back again. But I ain't marching anymore, for it's always the old that lead us to the war, always the young to fall. Now look at what we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? For I flew the finest mission in the Japanese sky. I set off the mighty mushroom roar. When I saw the cities burning, I knew that I was learning that I ain't marching anymore. Go to the end. Now the labor leaders screaming when they closed the missile plants. The United Fruit screams at the Cuban shore. Call it peace or call it treason, call it love or call it reason, but I ain't marching anymore. Well, it's always the old that lead us to the war, always the young to fall. Now look at what we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? Tell me, is it worth it all? That's Phil Oakes. We have a lot to be thankful for him. If you ever heard his draft dodger rag, he starts off with, well, I'm only 18, I got a ruptured spleen, and I always carry a purse. My eyes,
feet are flat.
My feet are flat, my eyes like a bat, and my asthma is getting worse. And he goes on and on and on until I think they finally reject him. But those are the days when we had the draft. Now it's just
mercenaries.
Now people just volunteering for what? To defend capitalism?
They're volunteering because they can't get a job doing anything else.
It might, yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, yeah. And then when they come back, the government doesn't help them. So
Okay, anybody want to say anything, share about anything? Anybody here that hasn't said anything, just want to say hi? I'm glad I was here or anything.
Joy has something to say.
Okay.
I just want to say that I'm glad y'all are still going, but I really want us to remember that it's our function as concerned citizens to keep the feet to the fire of these people who are elected. We can't let it go. I'm guilty of that. We elected Barack Obama and thought everything was hunky-dory, and we got Trump out of that. So we need to stay on top of these people who are there, continue to run, and I'll tell you where our gold mine is. 16, 17, 18-year-olds. They need to be educated on their responsibility and what democracy is about. They have no clue. They're learning, but they have no clue about what their responsibility and roles are. We don't teach politics. We don't teach.
Which means that we haven't done a good job in our schools.
We haven't. So anyway, I just want us to keep the momentum going. We got to keep staying on it every single day, forever, until we get this Democratic Party to really truly be.
Yeah, and we don't even know what's going to happen, if Trump's going to refuse to leave.
It doesn't matter about Trump, and that's the other thing I want us to stop doing. Stop giving this man airtime. Forget him. We give him the platform and the space. Forget it. Stop talking about him. He will go away, but we need to stop giving him our air. That's all. I'm done.
That's right.
I'm done.
I like that.
I'm done. All right, bye. Thank you.
I'm back.
Happy New Year.
Okay, you guys, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not bad. February 7th, we have Delane Easton, who's running to be head of the Democratic Party in California. And we have a surprise guest who's about to announce that she is running for something, but I'm not supposed to say who it is publicly.
Oh, didn't she already announce?
No, not officially. Anyway, and then we got other stuff that we have to figure out. So, okay.
Dianne Feinstein is replacing God.
Oh, she's replacing the devil.
Well, we got to feel sorry for her.
The Facebook event for our next meeting on the 7th will be going live at 7 p.m.
And before that, the next time we'll get together is January 30th. It's a Saturday for the town hall. Make sure you have that in your book.
30th or the 30th?
And that Facebook event is already up.
Okay. So you always send out reminders, so that's good.
Thank you, fam. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mark. Thank you for being here.